Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to um, the daily factor. All right, let's get this darn screen share. Gosh darn it! Every freaking time I do it wrong, I do it wrong. Never gonna learn, am I? All right. Jeez. All right. Let's get this screen shared and see what's going on. Make sure crypto's not crashing. Sorry about this. I don't know what's going on, huh? Well, the show was a few minutes late. I was supposed to start 21 minutes ago. My apologies. I have no idea what's going on with this site. Everything was working just a second ago. All right. So let's get it on a 30-minute chart. These are 30-minute bars. 30-minute bars of the S&P 500. You can see we hit lows this morning around lunch, 11. Yeah. 11 or 12 midday. Anyway, we bounced off there, but that was not shaping up to be a very good day. It still wasn't a good day, but it could have been a lot worse. Could have been a lot worse. Gosh, I need a keyboard to electrocute me or to give me a shock every time I do that. Maybe I finally learned. All right, so this is NASDAQ. See, basically, it's just going straight nowhere since, what was that, about since the 12th. And here we are at the 23rd. So basically gone straight nowhere. Now, unfortunately, we can't say the same thing for Bitcoin. Bitcoin in the same time period has been going straight down. Hey, Bon, what's up? Oh, I was messing with some new indicators here. Gosh darn it. Let's see. Let's just get rid of that. Okay. Yep. And of course, Bitcoin's on a new low. Well, it hit one in the past hour. Of course. Man. Market's not going to get better until Bitcoin does, at least not for me. Well, gosh darn, that sucks. 64,000. All right, well, maybe gold and silver going up. I don't know. We'll see. Gold futures. No, they're crashing too. Look at that. They ain't really crashing. They're down half a point, but I mean, let's look at silver futures. Yep, silver futures have pulled way back into the close. Dropped from like 89 to 84. Wow. Let's see, what bar was that? Was that at that was a 7 o'clock bar. So tonight when the market opened, it did that. Or actually, all right. All right, it's actually the market open right here, but since the market's been open, we'll check out copper futures as well. All right, we have a winner. We finally have a winner. We have one thing that's doing decent. It's a miracle. It is a miracle. All right. Do you think Claude is done with his job? I don't know. Do you think it's done right? Who knows? Probably not. We'll see. We shall see. It's time for Maximalist Monday. Okay, so what I did here is it's Bitcoin Maxi Mondays, right? So instead of Misty Monday, because Misty Monday turned into Bitcoin, and so I just threw anything I felt. I threw anything Ethereum, Bitcoin, or strategy related. I even threw in the strategy. I even threw in the strategy preferred stock funds, which of course they're probably going to win because they've been doing really well. They win every week. I throw them in this, but it's still interesting to look at. All right, so I'm going to make this screen bigger so you guys can see. Seems like which other one just ended. Seems like the other one just ended. Anyway, let's see here. Let me get my media. Let me get my assets up here. Remember, not financial advice, consult a professional advisor. I'm just going to leave that up for a little bit. All right. It'll go away by itself. All right. Now I'm going to make myself go away. Thank God. There we go. Okay. So let's meet our contestants. We always sort by the biggest yield, which is typically the worst performing ETF, but not always. Anyway, we have MSTW. Like I always say, it's of course is not yielding 290%, but let's see what it's really yielding. But it hasn't been out a year, and what it does, it takes the most recent dividend and divides it by the most recent price. Or no, anyway, whatever it does, it estimates too high on ones that have massive decay. Those kinds of ones never win the award anyway. So look at here, strategy versus MSTW on the bottom chart, which is always the one I look at. Strategies actually underperform the parent asset, and of course that's because they aren't making any money. They aren't selling any options. The ones that sell options, like for instance Misty, is a better fund than well, not than Misty's a better fund than MSTW on the way down. On the way up, not so much, but on the way down, yeah. So. All right, but anyway, it doesn't really yield that much. I've got to figure out a way to fix that problem. It drives me crazy. All right, second one is I missed. Speaking of not really yielding that much, here let's look at these this way. All right, let's see what MSTW. They have 171, and that's closer than what I have. But in any event, it's way too much. I think you guys can see that performance for the quarter down 50%, which is exactly what my metric does have, of course. All right, so then we have, what was the other one on there? MST, I think, came up, or well, actually, MST hasn't even come up yet. So I missed. Let's look at I missed. This is the Bitwise strategy, option income strategy ETF. It has the yield max chart pattern, right? That's the old yield max, and yeah, this one, even by their metric, it says 228. Now let me go back. My metric is actually right if it's been out a year. So anyway, all right, XBTY or not is not as distorted. When it's been out less than a year, it distorts it. All right, XBTY yielding 212. I mean, YETH yielding 163. Look, I mean, heck, on XBTY it's gone from $12 to $8. YETH, just based on Ethereum, dropped from 17 to $10 in a quarter. In a quarter. I mean, that's terrible. LFGY is doing absolutely terrible. Dropped from $27 to $20. Now the sector's been volatile, and these guys do actually sell options, unlike MSTW, which just sells stock, or they do total return swaps, but they're essentially just selling stock. They aren't generating any income. All right, so LFGY yielding 1.5. So I was just checking it, and that's a real figure because it's been out more than a year. Oh my, that's the trailing 12-month yield is 105 on that thing. But I bet you a lot of that's come in lately since it's crashing. Generally, when assets crash, volatilities of those assets go up. I'm trying to see if that's the case here. No, these are going down because the price is going down. But I bet you they're high. They're getting higher relative to the price. I wouldn't be surprised. So, yeah, right there, the dividend is 43 cents. But then right here, the dividend is 22 cents. But the price is half. It's the same difference. All right. That one sucks lately. IETH, I mean, all of these suck. YBTC, This one is yielding 96%. Wow. Let's look at YBTC here. This one's from Round Hill. Round Hill's, good company, has some good funds, but even they can't save this one, yielding 92%. I mean, paid $18.63 in dividends. All right. Anyway, BITK, this one's yielding about 80%. Maxi, this one is yielding 72. BCCC is yielding 65. Baggy's yielding 54. BTCI is yielding 51. Blocks is yielding a reasonable, for this group, 48. ETTY is yielding 39. Let me see what ETTY is. Oh, that's the Amplify. Okay. So that's the equivalent of Baggy, but for Ethereum. Because Baggy's at 3% monthly target income from Amplify. No, and it doesn't say 3% target. It just says max income. Okay, well, anyway. Let's go back here. All right, Baggy, BTCI. Now, BTCI is one that I know a lot of people like. I like blocks, of course. YBits. I mean, YBits paying kind of a reasonable 33%. I mean, I wonder why. I mean, that's a little bit surprising when you consider YBit is the yield max option. I mean, it's one of the yield max options. They also have LFGY. Now, YBit just does synthetic covered calls on IBIT, and LFGY does it on the underlying stocks that are in the Bitcoin ecosystem, I guess. So the underlying stocks usually more volatile, and I guess that explains where the extra yield comes from. But BPI, this is one that we haven't looked at a bunch lately. This is the Grayscale Bitcoin Premium Income ETF. So this thing is paying monthly. It looks right here, it looks like they went about a month and a half right there. But in any event, it is paying, is that monthly or is it, no, it's bi-monthly. Look at that. They've gone to every 2 weeks. Okay, trying to give it the times, Grayscale. 30 cents, 14 cents, 23 cents, 26 cents, 23 cents, 23 cents, 44 cents. Okay. Well, we haven't really, I don't think this one's been on Maximalist Monday before. We'll see how it does. We have STRC and STRD, Stretch, Stride, and Strike. These things yield 9 or 10%, but they're a lot safer. Then down here at the bottom, we have MST, but there was a data error. This one would not have won anyway. It would have come in dead last. We can look at the stable dex on MST, and this has a world record low stable dex. In the history of the index, that's the lowest stable dex I've ever seen. That means it's only 7% as stable as the broader market. Or you could take the inverse of it, and it means it's 13 or 14 times more volatile than the broader market. All right, well, let's look here. Speak of the stable dex. Let's see which ones are the safe ones. Now, these are based on Bitcoin. None of them are super safe, but the Stretch, the preferred stock that only pays 10%, not really based on Bitcoin. It's based on MicroStrategies, but MicroStrategy is just a straight Bitcoin play anymore. So there you have it. I mean, this one is actually one of the only, there's only 3 with positive NAV, and it's Stretch, Stride, and Strike. It's all of the preferred stocks. Go figure. So it would make sense to me those are safest. But how does XBTY get a 55? I don't get that because it's Granite shares. We had an issue today with SLVO's stable dex, and anyway, but I'm kind of wanting to call BS on. So, but let's just look. I mean, XBTY. Let's compare it to the next closest similar fund on the stable dex, which is YBTC. So XBTY and YBTC. Well, I can see it. I mean, YBTC BTC is about twice as volatile. It moves up and down twice as much. That XBTY, because I think it's because they're selling out of the money puts, and so they don't catch a lot of upside, so it makes their price. I don't know. I don't have an explanation for it. Anyway, just because they're the most stable one in this group of funds, I mean, the whole group's basically unstable. So, all right. But then there's some. Let's look at some reasonable stable ones. Actually, LFGY, BCCC have decent stability. I mean, it's a 24. LFGY's is a 20.26, meaning it's 4 times more volatile than the market. Same thing with BCCC. YBIT's around the same. BTCI, as good as BTCI and NeoSAR. I mean, that you can't. I mean, it's it's the assets. The asset's mostly the one responsible for the low stable deck scores. All right, well, let's look at the long-term max factor. Now, not all these have been out for a year. Now, I'm definitely calling BS on this, but I see why it won. Because if you look at the NAV, I mean, look at the yield, and then look at the 1-year total return, it's the only one on this list that's positive. So something has to come in first. It doesn't mean so, something has to come in first. These other ones haven't been around for a year yet. I don't think. Has Strike been around for a year? All right. Well, let's go. Let's do this. Wow. I didn't realize the Strike had been around for a year yet. 23220. Okay, well, let's look here. Well, all right. Anyway, these are just like the least worst at some of these metrics. YBTC, BTC. I mean, these are good. BTCI is a good one. I know people are happy with. They aren't happy with Bitcoin going down, but let's compare BTCI to LFGY is fine. And BTCY is losing. BTCI, I'm sorry, is losing. Anyway, all right, well, let's just look at the short-term max factor. Short-term max factor, there it is. Stretch, stride, strike. Blocks is actually 4th, but it's just the least bad. Look at the quarterly NAV return, 21%. There's none of the other ones can even touch that. The other ones are 35, 46, 33, 40, 35, 47, 39, whatever. Blocks is an impressive fund for what it's dealing with. Now, it's super volatile. Its standard deviation for the past 50 days is a 60. So that's like 5 times as volatile as the market, give or take. And so sure enough, it has a stable dex. It's a 0.21. So not very stable, right? But it's the best alternative besides stretch, stride, and strike. Okay, well, I think that's somewhat interesting, I guess. All right, what else you guys want to look at? Let's look at some. You guys want to look at some other stuff? Let's look over here at the 1 week. Let's look over here at some 1 week results on stocktools.app. Maybe even some 1 month results. I hate doing this. Every time I do this, I'm mad that I don't have Murney. I mean, Murney's just on fire. Who would have thunk it? I'm not really mad I don't have Murney. But it's surprising how well it's done. Let's just say that. All right, I'll get you guys back over there into the thing. Add to stage. There you go. Boom. All right, so here we go. Best funds of the week so far. Marnie. I had to check it. Is it really 12% in a week? I guess. I mean, And who's buying PayPal? Is that Elon? I mean, that's the rumor I heard, and it was halted. Was it today? It was halted today because pending news. But there was an acquisition rumor in going on. So actually, let's take a look at PayPal. Wow, that's a gap right there during the middle of the day between 10 and 11. PayPal gap like 50 cents or something. But then they're dealing with this overhead supply right here caused by this earnings situation. Maybe somebody's buying the dip, another company. Let's see what it says here. Let's see, PayPal stock on takeover hopes. Here's who could swoop in. Of course, they declined to comment. Private equity. Other less likely possibilities is Elon and JP Morgan. She also saw, yeah. Anyway, kick ass. All right. Well, I mean, good for you if you have that one. All right. Of course, Winter's killing it. NV2. This one we looked at after work today. That is an impressive fund. On a week, it's outperforming the parent. Now, but to be fair, let's look at NVDW. These guys, they do it a different manner. Well, actually, both of these guys use leverage. So, but NV2 is outperforming NVDW lately, and they're both beating the parent asset, which is impressive because they're covered call funds. Or actually, NVDW isn't, but NV2 actually does sell option premium. And I still am of the opinion that even though NVDW doesn't sell option premium, that I think that the total return swap has that built into it, or that's part of what creates the total return for an index is the volatility it spits off. I bet. So they may, anyway, they just don't directly sell options, but they do participate in the total return of the asset. So I'm thinking maybe their counterparty sells options, but anyway, they don't. AAPW using that, and then they leverage the underlying. Of course, they leverage the underlying, and then they don't write any options. GDXY having a great day, but having a great week, underperforming the parent. GDXY, it's beating K Gold. That's impressive, but it's not a fair comparison because one's gold miners and one's gold. Then we have Apple, NVYY. So this one, right, let's compare NVYY to NV2. I really like NV2's plan. I just think just looking at what it's doing, looking at how it's performing, it seems like that NV2 is that strategies seems to be a really good mix of risk and reward. They seem to get a lot of upside without maybe as much risk as like a W series fund from Round Hill has, or a YY series fund from Granite. So let's see how these guys stack up against each other. All right. Well, I mean, Rex running away with it, and Rex is actually, and Rex has just pulled away from them and then just stayed ahead. That's the problem with put selling. NVYY only sells puts. Now, a put's a synthetic covered call. Just selling a put's the same thing as owning stock and selling a call at the same strike you sold the put. Same difference. So, but covered calls cap the heck out of you. And NVYY is super cap. Plus, I believe they sell slightly out of the money. Now, the thing is, though, they get some of their Granite shares get some of their alpha from selling leveraged options. So, but whatever the difference is, they aren't making up for the difference here. Now, NV2 uses leverage too on half the portfolio is levered like 130% on half the portfolio. So Anyway, the NV2 plan is working better. Look, they started at the same price. I mean, within 50 cents. So we could just compare the dividend straight across. And that's where NVYY is giving you more of your money back in the form of yield. They're giving you, it looks like about 60, 70% higher dividend. So that right there would explain a little bit. That probably accounts for the difference in NAV performance. You know, you can, so let's see, that's 3/4 of a year. So NVYY is on pace to pay about 90%. I just eyeballed it real quick. If you added in another quarter of the year plus 17 a quarter, yeah, about 190 or 100%. NV2 is on pace to pay 14, 15, something like that. You know, on an asset that costs 25, that's a very respectable 50, 60%, something like that. So just depends on how you want your money back. Like I always say, it's your money. These companies will give it back to you any way you want. I mean, you can have it back all in the form of yield, or you can have it back in some of each, whatever, however you want it. All right, so let me see what you guys are saying. Yeah, I know it. I know, Vaughn. I'm sorry. We got to do one day. One day when Bitcoin turns around, this Misty Monday is going to be the best show of the week because these things are all just going to be insane. But yeah, it's I don't know when that. It doesn't look like it's anytime soon. So BTCI has done terrible with BTC going down. You think it's the worst of the NEOS funds because of BTC? I was going to say, but NEOS, I mean, I doubt they're doing anything to make it worse. I bet they're trying the hardest they can, and the asset won't cooperate. But you had a bunch of hopes of BTC going up. Yeah, me too. So you sold your NVYY in the taxable. It's not tax efficient. Are you considering NV2? I mean, NV2 looks pretty dang good on a apples to apples comparison, on a head to head comparison. Let's look at them for the past quarter. I mean, that was since inception. Let's just pull up the past quarter. I mean, it's a good look. That's just a good look for NV2. I mean, it's not a bad look for NVY. I mean, YY. I mean, they at least have positive total return, which is more than some high yield funds could say. But anyway, the comeback will be good. We can't expect it just to go up no matter what Bitcoin does. Yeah, that's true. That's true. You bought XSPI with some of the money. Okay, well, let's check into a little XSPI. So I've been interested in. So this is the NEOS boost. Okay, so, and this one's 50%, right? 50% boosted or 30%. I know one's 30 and one's 50. Let's compare. I want to see XSPI to SPY over the last quarter. Okay, well, that hasn't been out a quarter. I didn't realize XSPY was that new, but yeah, I guess it is. All right, well, yeah, I guess it came out. Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see how this one does. I mean, there's a lot of money flowing into it. It's up 800%. Started with $1.5 million, just like all funds, and it's about tripled its size. Yeah, 800%. I guess that's what 800%. So it should be interesting to see how it does. Has there been a dividend payment? Yes. Why do they pay a dividend on the first day? I mean, that's interesting, or the second day or whatever. I mean, you could do it. A fund could just pay cash out of some of their, that could pay a dividend on day one, but doesn't seem like it makes a lot of sense to me. But 30%. Okay. Well, I wonder. So, okay, 30%. So here's the competition. Here's the comparison for that one. If you tell me it's SPY base paying 30%, well, I'm going to want to see what it does compared to WDTE and also what's the other 30? Oh yeah, and XDTE from Round Hill. I mean, because those are in the same neighborhood. XDT is doing an excellent job here. Now that's since inception. I wanted to focus on this quarter. All right, so now not that. Well, that's the past year. I guess we'll look at the past year, whatever. All right, so since inception, it looked bad, but Defiance and WDT has gone through several strategy changes. And I think the latest one may be a 30% target fund or something. But anyway, WDT has definitely improved. But then there's another one also we could look at that pays around 30%. But anyway, what I'm going to say is I want XSPI to beat these, because these are the main comparison, because you could get the same type of exposure and the same type of yield. So this is going to be their comparison for them, in my opinion. Now, there's one more that also pays around that much that I know of, and is based on the SPY, and that one's been doing really well. In fact, it even came in ahead of the NEOS product or the Round Hill product the other day on the daily factor, and that's SDTY. It was actually RDTY that beat RDTE, but that's actually a YieldMax ODTE product. Then, to be honest, they copied the Round Hill. Round Hill was doing so well, and they basically put in the same strategy. From what I can tell, I mean, I'm sure they do some things different. But in any event, SDTY is doing a good job. Let's look at SDTY against RD. I know a lot of you guys aren't good. No one's going to buy Defiance. I get that. But it is one of the choices out there that's paying that much. But anyway, so let's look at not RDT. Let's look at XDTE from Round Hill against SDTY from YieldMax. And we have YieldMax on top, 7.6 to 7.2. So, but that's over a course of a year. Now let's look at the NAV. SDTY's dropped from 50 to 43. So that's $7. XDT's dropped from 50 to 39. So XDT's NAV is not doing as well as the YieldMax NAV. Let's see but maybe XDT pays a higher dividend, which could account for some of the difference in NAV. And yeah, and they do pay a higher dividend because one paid 14, one paid 11. So the difference between those two numbers is $3.46 or something. So if you put $3.46 over here back into the NAV of XDTE, to make the dividends equal, it'd be about the same. It'd be about the same on NAV and about the same. So that's a real close comparison there. Those are like I say, they aren't going to admit to it, but I think they basically read the same playbook. They do say they manage it more actively, where the Round Hill one is more of a set in and forget it. But I've never really checked into it. That's according to their own marketing. And talking to these guys that like talking to gosh darn used car salesmen. You've been thinking, you think they had been holding back on launching it for a month. Okay. So that's why they, seems like the other one just ended. Half of those tickers. Yeah. I'm just making sure I haven't missed anything. XSPI should be good. I'm just saying, if it doesn't treat you right, I think SDTY or XDTE could fill the same lane. But the other thing is XSPI really going to pay 30%? Because I saw you put 30% somewhere. Yeah, right there. But I thought this was going to pay more like 20%. I guess we don't know because this one's going to be monthly. That's what it is. So yeah, 70 cents a month. Okay. So 70 times 12 is what? $8.20 20 cents or something, $9.20 on something that costs 50. So I'm thinking that's about 18, 20% or something. So in any event, but I'm saying the XDT and SDTY are not bad ETFs. No one ever talks about SDTY, and it's doing pretty good. Yeah, you already know about XDT. XDT is a very fine fund. There's been periods in the past where XDT was beating the SPY on a total return basis. In fact, when it first came out, it was spanking the SPY. Here, let's do that really quick. Let's go XDT and let's just go SPY, and let's and then I'm going to take a look at here, and then let's just go right up to the right up to last March 23. Okay, and see, I think around this time frame, you can see it's close, but there was times when XDT was beating the SPY for good periods of time. It depends on when you start and when you finish, I guess. But I'm glad you have some XDTE. It's amazing that XDT is this is a big this is a good look for yield max, kind of a rare one, lately anyway. I mean, they're right there together. Oh no, this is prior to the no, that only goes for a month. Hang on. Because that one SDTY had just come out. All right, it doesn't get much closer than that. So, all right, guys, what else do you guys want to talk about? We can talk about whatever. We can talk about whatever you guys want to. If you guys want to talk about saying, is there anything I've missed talking about? Let's go see if Bitcoin's still going down. You can also look at the pros versus Joe's indicator. And yeah, it's still as negative as it can be. It's just as negative as it was in March and of 2023. Just as negative as it was in November of this year. Market really didn't sell off that much that time. That wasn't the greatest signal, but it was a good time to be cautious. The market did go through kind of a rough patch. When it gave the caution signal, market's traded at 663, and the market did drop to 652 at some point. But anyway, that not a very good one. But then it gave another caution signal right here, and at 675, and the market did drop to 647 before recovering. But anyway, then the latest one came at latest caution signal came at 688. Lowest we've been so far is 676. I guess there's no bombs dropping overseas yet. What's going on here? Do you know anyone who uses Robinhood margin? You got your margin call. Hopefully somebody will see your comment and respond to it. I know somebody that uses Robinhood, but not margin. It's a cash account. You got your margin call. I'm sorry, man. What was it? What stock was it on? Or I guess it's on your whole portfolio. But is there one stock that did it to you? Did something sell off? Oh my gosh, I'm sorry that happened. That is a bad feeling. Although sometimes it's for the best. Maybe you really need to either throw in a little more money or sell something. Sometimes it may be for the best, but it sure hurts when it happens. Sure hurts when it happens. There's only 6 people in here, and I don't guess we have any Robinhood guys. All right, so let's check out Bitcoin. Well, we're trading at just over 64,000. Low for the night so far, 63.4. We're only, 4,000 away. Hopefully we'll hold, but I just don't like that we were making higher lows and now we just made a lower low and we lost this ascending trend line. It's just not a good look right now anyway. Um, oh, you don't use margin, but you're flirting with the idea. Okay, I see what you're saying. So you didn't get your margin call. Good. I was worried. Okay, you're just wondering uh, like how long they give you to bring them or what. You're just wondering about how it works or whatever. You just want to talk to somebody. Somebody, are you in our Discord? If you're in our Discord, there's guys in there that absolutely for sure um, do it. I don't know where they are tonight. They're blowing me off. None of them are in here though, but it may be kind of late where they're at. I forgot to turn up my visual. If I forget to turn up the enhanced skin appearance, I scare myself. All right, much better. Maybe I should start doing this. The fake background or something. You see a lot of people do that. I just think the blur looks cool. Because I'm kind of messy and so I don't clean up back there sometimes, but the blur just, yeah. I think that's a good look right there. Well, anyway, look at that. I just took 10 years off can they make my gray hair go away? And this chick that cut my hair, she did a really good job. I'm gonna start going to her every time. And I'm gonna not let it get so long again. All right, guys. Well, I'm running out of stuff to talk about. Coastie Dividends. Hey, thank you. Coastie Dividends sent me a very generous donation, made a generous donation to the channel, and I appreciate it. As did, there's several of you guys lately. I've had like 3 or 4 Oracle gave me a $50 super chat 2 days ago. Then Mayor's always super generous and hit me up and sent me a PayPal. And then also somebody that I don't know also sent me a very generous donation. Anyway, thank you to all 4 of you guys. I appreciate it very much. You guys it makes me more excited about making content, and I appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. All right. Well, speaking of making content, I probably need to go now that I have the maximum. I have the top Claude plan. $100. There may be even one above $100. It's like an unlimited plan or something. But I need to go. I need to go put it to use and get Claude to do some coding for me. Or I really need to get Claude to help me make this max factor better. I need to solve the problems. I've been having some issues on here, so I'm going to go try to get Claude to solve them. Yeah, I know it, Coastie. I've been hearing the same thing, and I almost think about panicking and just selling my blocks. But I just like blocks so much. But it's just not the right time for it. I know it. I've seen that too. I've seen people make a convincing case for 35 or 45, 40 something. But people can always make a convincing case. That alone's not enough reason. But I was thinking, well, anyway, maybe I should just do it anyway because I just notoriously have bad timing. If I dump my blocks, then Bitcoin will probably rally. That'll be the low. So maybe I need to take one for the team and dump my blocks. Or maybe what I'm really probably more likely think about doing is dumping my BITK in case it goes down there to 40. And keeping my blocks because blocks, David is able to hedge that. BITK is fine, but it's systematic. It'll do great in a bull market. It's not the right market for it. So that's probably what I'm going to do. I need to do that tomorrow. I need to dump my BITK. I don't want to ride BITK down to 45,000. Yeah, now I'm keeping my blocks. I talked myself into it. Blocks is a whole different thing because blocks is actually genuinely selling premium on companies that are in that business. If even Bitcoin does go to 45, the falls of those companies will go through the roof, and there'll be good yields that will cushion the blow. And you can see right now, blocks is the best performing one out of all the Bitcoin ones, besides Stretch, Stride, and Strike. It is protecting capital the best. So, yeah, you're right. I'm keeping blocks. I need to dump BITK. I'm going to dump BITK. I'm going to do it tomorrow. And that'll free. And then what I want, because I'm a little nervous just having 5% cash. BITK is like 6.5%. So that would make me have an 11% cash position. And that would be pretty cool. And then if I am right about the market pulling way back, or if Bitcoin, when Bitcoin does go down to 45, maybe buy some BTCI down there, or B triple. I've been kind of interested in BCCC, but yeah, BTCI could be a good one. I mean, or BITK could be a good one. But yeah, I think I need to do something with that. With that BITK. All right, guys, I think I'm going to get out of here, go see what's going on. What am I going to do? Oh, yeah, I'm going to go do some, I have stuff to do, but I'm going to go play some Call Sheet, turn on some basketball, and relax for a little while. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much. Now, remember, this is not financial advice. This is just like talking to a friend. I mean, it's your friend may be a nice guy or whatever, but he can't give you legal advice. I'm just like a friend to you guys. Anyway, not financial advice, consult a licensed planner. And I'm not even going to put up the, well, I guess I'll put up the PayPal link. But anyway, if you'd like to support the station, there's the PayPal link. Outside of that, hit like and subscribe. Have a good evening, and be here at 9:15 in the morning. And we'll do the morning live stream, see what's going on. We'll check out that. We'll check out what do I want to check out tomorrow? Oh yeah, earnings trades. I'm gonna do some stuff on Nvidia tomorrow, some content, and maybe even a trade or two on my own account. I have an idea on a broken wing butterfly in Nvidia that I think might be a good earnings trade. I'll show you what I have tomorrow. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. See ya.